am what I am. I am my own special creation. So come take a look. Give me the hook or the ovation. It's my world and I wanna have a little pride in my world. And it's not a place I have to hide in. Life's not worth a damn till you can say I am what I
Welcome back to another episode of Anthony Mates, and I cannot believe I'm about to introduce you to. He's absolutely gorgeous and very, very suave. He is an extremely successful man in his own right, but also comes from the gene pool of, I think, probably the most successful man that we could all think of, Sir Roger Moore. Ladies, gentlemen, and everybody else, please let me introduce you to Jaffa Moore. Jaffa, how are you?
Fantastic. How are you?
Thank you very well. So here, I believe you're there having some wine and dinner, and I'm stuck here in the West Midlands, hey?
You know what my favorite wine is?
What's your favorite wine?
Can I have some more?
Yeah, I'm quite fond of that one myself. I think the other one that I like is pour it by the pint.
Look, I cut my finger opening a bottle.
Oh dear.
Look at that.
So
took a chunk out.
So
thank God it was red wine. Nobody noticed.
So listen, my day job's lawyer will get you money for that. Jaffa, obviously we're talking because you've got some new music out. And actually one of the songs in particular really, really has drawn me in, which is the You and I song. Can you tell me a bit more about that and how that's all come about?
Well, my daughter Ambra helped me produce the video, and we were saying, God, wouldn't it be great to win an Oscar? Not so much go for a Grammy, but how about what's the fast track to win an Oscar? Right. And so we said, great idea. Let's do and dedicate it to her grandfather, Roger, the late Sir Roger. He dedicated 20 years of his life, gave up actually the film industry, gave it up for the organization UNICEF because of Audrey Hepburn, who created the Goodwill Ambassador role. Anyway, cut a long story short, he said, wouldn't it be great to sort of, as an accolade, dedicate it to Roger, and then Roger would use this tribute, this award, and say, this is dedicated to, create more awareness for children in need, etc., etc.
Right.
So we said, oh, I got a great idea. And so, a frustrated songwriter, I started writing all this stuff. And I go, but wait a minute, how is the Academy going to consider a best song for an Academy Award without a film?
Right, okay.
So we went, oh, the tail's wagging the dog. So we created this satirical documentary called And the Winner Isn't, about how to win an Oscar. And so the actual documentary is about putting the song together and getting all these people to perform, to mime along with the song.
Yeah.
And basically, and the joke was we targeted all those that had been nominated but never won an Oscar.
Oh, I love it.
Satirical. Yeah. So we first person sitting there and so what did it feel like when you won an Oscar? I said, well, we never won an Oscar. And so this sort of take on how to win an Oscar called And the Winner Isn't, that was the birth of this video. And so it was basically a tribute to Roger and his commitment to the organization. And then one day, my daughter Amber, she was such a fan of Glee, Gwyneth Paltrow show.
Yeah.
And Naya Rivera was singing, and I thought, God, wouldn't it be amazing to have someone like her singing, and then to sort of do it as a duet, and then who are we going to get as a guy singer? Couldn't find anyone. So Amber said, but Papa, you know how to sing. Why don't you do it? And I said, well, how about this? I just put my voice down as a guide. And then
Right.
we'll sort of shop it around and see if there's someone else who could match Naya's beautiful voice.
Yeah.
I couldn't find anybody, so we had to settle with mine, and here we are.
Well, I mean, it's a hardship, but I think we're coping okay with that. Actually, I think it's all right. But listen, the video, and I love the story behind the video. But I mean, you've got some of the people in there who I just absolutely adore. I mean, when we're talking about flag hag sort of status, you've got Joan Collins, the Queen of the Gays, Joanna Lumley. I mean, the list goes on and on. But these are people that you grew up with, really, aren't they?
Most definitely. Those were, that was an easy sell because it was also a tribute to Roger. And in fact, in the video, when you see Roger, that was the last day I saw him. And the next day I flew to LA. And then 5 days later, I called up and he stumbled to the phone and said, I'm not sure I can hold on any longer. Oh. I said, well, I'm going to fly back. He said, no, stay committed to what you're doing. The song does the trick. Right. Keep it up. You know that this was the best performance of my life, is basically dedicating it to helping children in need. And he said, I got so lucky. It's time to pay back. And that touched me so much. And every time I see the video, it's the last day I saw the old man, and it's actually living. How many people have that beautiful privilege of seeing the last day of your father? And if you're close to your father, I don't know if your dad is still with us, but to develop a relationship, and in the latter years, in the last 25 years of his life and my midlife, we developed such a strong bond and friendship that every day we would speak at 11 o'clock. That was the rule. No matter where you were, even if you're in a meeting, you pick it up, say, can't speak right now, speak to you tomorrow. And so we had this rule at 11 o'clock, and it took me a while to get over the fact that he wasn't with us. And I'd still go with this, punch in the face. Oh, I realized, oh my goodness, he's not with us anymore. But through this song, and it's a shame he never saw the end product, but I still see him every day when I see the video. It's the last day I saw him. So that to me is the most special prize. It's just and it inspired me. And Nile Rodgers, who laid down his magic, I made it very clear. I said, Nile, we're friends. You love Rog, etc., etc. If the song isn't good enough, the last thing I'm going to do is ask you to tarnish your genius and put yourself down on, lay a track down on something. You go, oh, I did it because, no, I want it to be real. If the song's good enough, you do it. And he said it's good enough. In fact, he didn't even say it's good enough. He said, I'm sending you some stems. I've put some of my Nile magic down. And it made it easy because I same sort of consensus, same spiel to everyone I appealed to, and said, I'll make it easy for you. If you don't like the song, then you just say, don't like the song. That's your answer. And everyone said yes.
Brilliant. So totally. I mean, whenever I got the sample through, I listened to it the first time and I went, okay, catchy number. And then I listened to it the second and the third and listened to the words and the message that was in there. And it's, it's such an important message. And I've been doing the promos for this interview on social media and talking about, you've got a special message to share.
Thank you.
But haven't we all become so desensitized or even uninterested in that really simple unification thing that we can just do for free? Dead easy, doesn't cost us a penny. And, we're having to write songs to remind people. It's crazy, isn't it?
That's a very poignant message. Something you just said. It's a bit like, you got to put on the gala and you got to hire some entertainer to get up and sing for people to reach down in their pocket and donate. If you're sitting on the couch and saying donate, it's hard. I'm guilty of it. But that's such a poignant message. But bless you for saying that. Yes, I think that the sort of, the generation that will follow us, what they will have to endure, what they will have to go through, let alone the lack of iodine. It's
Yeah.
such a simple deficiency that it's just unnecessary. There's enough food to go around.
Yeah.
But here, you can be quite hypocritical, and yes, you do all this stuff, and my contribution was, goodness, it's hard to, if you listen to the album, I don't know if you've heard the album, but it's a tribute to the 70s and 80s, which is
Yeah.
what I grew up with. And the one song which I found the most, should we say, most challenging, because I was basically being dictated. I'm not writing a song based on a dream or an experience or something that reminds me of something, and then I'm inspired. It
Yeah.
was, you actually take a blank canvas and you're going to have to write a message on behalf of a generation, create a bit of awareness, something very simple. 1 penny, one dime, 10 francs, $10 will make a difference. And it's so sad that we're in this position. There's enough food, as I said, to go around to
Yeah.
feed the planet. And
Yeah.
you sound like a humanitarian. So what a great envoy, what a great ambassador to hear you say those words of such poignancy. And we're on the same page. Bless your heart.
I think we are, and hopefully there'll be a few more, hopefully on its side. But I wanted to go back whenever you started, when you were talking about your daddy there.
Yes.
That really touched me, actually, because my daddy, I call him Yoda. Okay, I
Yoda,
don't make any decisions until I've spoken to Yoda. Now that doesn't mean I always do what he says, but I have to hear his opinion on it. But you do, as a kid, you spend that first half of your life rebelling, don't you? And then the second half of your life grabbing onto them. But my dad is a legend to everybody that knows him. He's super intelligent, super witty, super charming, good looking man. Love him to bits. Absolute legend, like yours. But obviously my dad isn't world famous as 007. And
well, we both take after our mother.
Yeah, my mom has a great beard.
Yeah, my grandmother used to have a moustache. The Italian side.
But I'm wondering, how was the pressure? I mean, it's got to have been pressured. How do you deal with the pressure of being James Bond's son and everybody having those expectations of you? Where do you go? How do you do it?
Well, I think the two sort of beacons of measure, the moral compass, is that there's a guy who's listening to us in Gravesend.
Yeah.
And if I would say, oh, it's really difficult, he goes, goodness, if I had your name and I had your privileged introduction to it all, I mean, how could you? How would you? How dare you say this? Yeah. It was such a privilege. Yeah. The difference is, you better have something good to sell.
Absolutely.
That notoriety. If you're using that name, you better have something good to sell. And I do feel confident enough to take the punch, say what you will. I will use my dad's name, but at the end of the day, I do believe there is something that backs it up. I got a good story to tell. I've got something good enough. I got something good enough.
Well, I love that. And your daddy's name was his daddy's name, and your name's your daddy's name, and anybody that comes after you will be your name. So you use it rightly. Absolutely fantastic. So I've got to ask you now, because the gays love a bit of Auntie Joan Collins, right? I've been trying to get the hold of Joan Collins to get her on this show forever. Yeah. There are many wonderful people around Auntie Joan, but is she great crack at a party? What's she like? Is she in the corner with a gin and tonic and a fag bitching about everybody, or what goes on with her?
It reminds me of the Billy Joel Piano Man, where it's just brilliant story. What a modern day songwriter, like the sort of Cole Porter. He was the modern day Cole Porter, and there's a man making love to his gin and tonic.
Right. I've done that, I think, once or twice. You've
done that. You know what the secret to drinking is not to spill it.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. I was going to make another joke there, but that's for another time.
but Dame Joan, what a force! Extraordinary. She was such a family friend, and you sort of people say, oh, what was it like being at the end of the day, that generation. the old man who was so self-deprecating came back as a day's work. Yeah, when we stepped out, there's the sort of you put on the show and smile and snap. When you come home, he's just he's the regular bloke, and basically they're being paid to lie.
Yeah, absolutely.
They're being paid to make believe. So, and what's really interesting with today, our generation created this technology when we're the last to know how to use it. Correct.
Yeah.
Right? And in those days, you didn't have the sort of the link, the immediately exploited on the digital platform. And so when you actually saw that person, they were larger than life.
Yeah.
And today there's sort of the bit of the I deserve generation where I can become famous because look, I got 2 million followers, so I must have something special.
Why?
This was a generation of hardship. They came from knowing the price of butter, and that they really respected and once again it's of the same ilk. And I'm sure, judging by your questions and your relationship with your father, he is of the same ilk. Mm-hmm. And that is how lucky we were. Mm-hmm. We are the luckiest generation. We never experienced a world war. We're part of the DNA discovery, the map, the human map.
Yeah.
Technology. Never experienced a world war. Our world war was COVID.
Yeah, well, absolutely. I grew up in Northern Ireland, which was pretty much a war zone. But it's only as an adult when I look back that I realize it was, because we were very much protected from it. Now, you were aware of dangers, and there was things you would say or not say, or areas that you would go to or not go to. But our normal life was preserved at all cost, and my mom and my dad and my aunties and uncles or whatever, you were never allowed to feel like that was going on around you. And I actually think that came from that war generation. They brought that down, they this wisdom and ability to be able to go, that's crazy over there, but we're going to pretend it's not going on. Eat your greens,
and it sort of it teaches you to appreciate the simple things. But this might sound very, very not pretentious, but very much like growing up in Hollywood.
Yeah, it was very similar. I mean, I was just thinking that myself.
Very similar.
Yeah.
Very similar. Dodge the bullet. There's a dream and dodge the bullet.
Yeah. I love it. Yeah, I know. I mean, yeah. Hollywood was exactly like my back garden. Well, listen, Jaffa, I know that you're at an amazing event, and I'm not going to keep you, but I just want to say this to you, and I really genuinely mean it. Thank you so much for your time, and thank you so much for your message. I appreciate it, and I know that a lot of people will appreciate it. And just keep please singing it and shouting it and making a noise with it. I think what you're doing is wonderful. And hopefully everybody watching this will agree with me and give you the support that you
Bless
deserve.
Your heart. Tremendous pleasure. Thank you so much.
Take the very best of care.
God bless.
Bye.
You. Bye.
My name is Michael Caine, and you are watching You and I.
Beginning of our time, we've crossed this land so blind. Our children are in despair, but do we really care?
Some of us have more to give, and others have no place to live. Deep down inside, we really care.
Picture yourself in a magical sky that is slowly dying. Here we are, still alive to survive. We gotta help each other. If we come together, gotta love one another. You and I, still alive, we decide we can make it better. If we come together, it can last forever. Get together side by side. This time we can make it right. We need to share this every day.